Hello friends! If we've met before, it's great to see you again, and if not, hi, my name is Taylor, and welcome to Taylor's Table Talk, because there is indeed a table here. Hey guys! Long time no see. It has been a minute, and by a minute I mean like a good couple months. So here's the thing. I wanted to just sit down and make a little video just kind of explaining where I've been, why I stopped making videos for a good few months, and just kind of put that all out there into one video just because I've explained it in a couple of the future videos that I'll be posting. I give like brief explanations in those videos, but I feel like I'm always like rushing myself, or I'm not explaining myself as well as I could be, whether that's for the sake of time, whether that's just I'm not having a good day and can't explain myself well that day, because hey, we're human, it happens. So I decided, mostly for my own sanity, to just sit down and make a video and just kind of have all the explanations in one place. And trust me, I'm not delusional. I'm not sitting here thinking that there are like so many people wondering where my videos went and stuff like that. No, I'm a very, very tiny channel, and I'm very aware of that, and that's completely fine, and that's great. But I know that there aren't people sitting around waiting for me to post in a video explaining where I've been and all these things. I know that, I understand that, so like I said, this is really just for my sanity, and in the off chance that somebody is looking for a more long-formed explanation as to where I've been, I do have that available as like a little resource for people to turn to. Not that I'm sitting here expecting there to be people actually looking for this video. But yeah, I'm also very aware that this video is not going to be like reaching a lot of people or even like my subscribers or things like that. I'm not expecting there to be a big reach here. This isn't exactly the most interesting video I could make or put out. I don't know how long it's going to be, but like this isn't obviously the most entertaining thing out there. But yeah, this will be here mostly for my sanity and for anyone else who is just looking for a bit more of an explanation. Now, with all that being said, let's start getting into all of this. So, where have I been? What was the reason for the hiatus? There's kind of like a multitude of reasons as to why the hiatus happened, and they all sort of just happened at the same time, or at least relatively within the same realm of time, if that makes sense. Let's get into one of the bigger reasons as to why this pause had happened. And if you see me like glancing down or like looking at something, it's because I did make some notes for this so I could kind of stay on track and like try not to muddle this up too much, so that's why. Now, the big reason for why I put everything on pause had to do with the SAG-AFTRA strike that was going on. And even with this reason, there's like a multitude of reasons within it as to why I made this decision. And a very big part of that just has to do with being in solidarity with the union and making my own personal choice for what I saw I could do in solidarity, which was just putting these videos on pause, putting stuff out there that has to do with could be considered promotional, things like that. There was like a very big I don't want to say debate, but like just a very big conversation around promoting things and being a creator, and what promoting is and isn't, and there was a lot of back and forth with all of that. And so of course, while I was trying to get my own understanding from the union itself, I also figured the easiest thing that I could do to just ensure that I wasn't crossing any picket lines or doing anything that could be considered scabbing and things like that, and just to remain in solidarity, was to just put a complete pause on things. And this was a very personal choice that came with a lot of personal thought about the content that I make. Specifically here on YouTube, what I am doing, I don't really consider this to be promotional in terms of that I'm not intentionally trying to promote things. I'm not intentionally trying to influence people to watch something or not to watch something. But at the end of the day, I could have influence over someone too. That's kind of just the way of the internet and the power that one can have when they are creating content. How I looked at it is, it doesn't hurt me to put things on a hold. This is not something that I rely on financially. This is not something that, this is just a hobby for me. It has no big giant impact on what happens if I do or don't do something. Again, I say that this is a personal choice because it was. This is, of course, looking at the guidelines that were put out by the SAG union, but also just me taking things in and digesting things and making some of my own personal decisions that maybe they were exactly what I was supposed to do. Maybe I was doing more than what I needed to do. But I figured it was the best thing that I could do to be in solidarity with these unions. And again, I just really want to stress that this was a very personal choice. This is not me trying to say what the guidelines were. This is not me trying to say what I did was the correct thing that everyone else should have been doing. This is me just saying I was doing my best. I set some of my own personal rules while trying to follow the rules that were out there as well. Maybe not rules is the right word, but like guidelines, personal guidelines, the guidelines that were out there, and just generally trying to be careful about my presence on social media and trying not to, accidentally cross picket lines or scabbing, even if that's just on a virtual level. I was trying to be just genuinely careful. Another reason just happens to be that even though I am not in the SAG union, I am someone who is hopefully part of the SAG union someday. I'm an actor, I'm a performer. I would hope that I am given the opportunity at some point in the future with my career that I can join the SAG union. And so of course there's also just this realm of trying to make sure that I was not, again, scabbing or crossing any lines or things like that. Just trying to be careful from more of a career point of view, and also just again, in solidarity, but in solidarity with a lot of people that I hope one day can also be my coworkers, and who I hold just a genuine amount of respect for. A good amount of these people, a lot of people in this industry. Yeah, with those reasons and stuff, I just decided for myself that it was best to take a step away, to put a pause on things, especially with the videos that I put on here specifically. It was something that I really had to think about because prior to the SAG strikes happening, I didn't really think about the content that I was putting out and what it could be considered. I really never considered this stuff to be promotional content. And it's still something that's like funny for me to think about because I'm just trying to make videos where I discuss things that I really love and have conversations and watch things and just talk about all that stuff. I also had to come to this understanding that what I am putting out could be considered free promotional. And that is at least something that I had to think about and had to consider when I was looking at, the videos that I do make here on YouTube and coming to my own decision and my own choices, and again, very personal choices. That's kind of how I got there with my very big reason for why everything got put on a pause until the SAG strikes were over. Which they are. The SAG and the WGA strikes are both over now, so thank goodness. So glad that, the strikes are over and that deals have been made. I know within SAG itself there are still iffy points when it comes to AI and stuff, which is it can be a very daunting and a very terrifying thing to think about in this industry. And so I know there's still things that, like, within the union itself, it's getting worked out, and it's everyone trying to gain and understand what this means for their careers, what protection do they have with AI and other things like that. But nevertheless, I am very glad to see that there were agreements and new contracts, and that these strikes are over. And it is wonderful to get to see actors being able to now start to promote and finally release pictures from projects that they've done. It's nice to see. And it's also just nice to see that, how effective unions can be, how important unions are, and how effective striking can be, and how people fighting for their own protection and for better wages and all these other things, how important that is. So now that we got like the really big reason out of the way, let's get into like everything else that's like not as big and crazy as that, but I still feel as though like deserves at least a little bit of explanation. The other thing that kind of just happened like literally like within the same time span of the SAG strikes happening was also me starting my Ren Fair contract, which spanned over a few months' time, and so it's now something that I look back at as I'm like, I don't know if the SAG strike had not happened, I just generally don't know if I would have had the time between my usual job and then my performance job, and between those I don't know if I would have had time to make videos. Between the two, I think, you know, during a lot of that time it's a lot of like I'm exhausted, and it's a very fulfilling amount of exhaustion, but creating videos and recording them and editing, which as time went on I was able to do, and I was able to kind of get my bearings a little bit and get back into it. But like especially at the very beginning of all that and getting into that transitional time, it's not easy to do. This being like the second year of me doing the same performance job, I do naturally, I think, tend to just take like a social media break where I'm still active, I'm still on, but I am not creating as much. And so in hindsight, with my acting job and everything on top of just everything else that was going on in life, it would have been a hard mix. I'm not saying it would have been impossible, but it was just already going to be something that would have likely put these videos a bit more on the back burner. Now, mind you, I did make videos. I have them more of like archived and privately saved like on YouTube, so they're ready to be uploaded and stuff. So obviously I was able to eventually find my groove in all of it and start to kind of find a balance. There was also just, it helps when suddenly, like, you know, it's announced that Our Flag Means Death Season 2 is finally being released and all that's coming up, and then I'm like, oh crap, I still have to film all these other reaction videos for Season 1 to then get myself prepared and ready for Season 2. So that push, I would say, helped me out a lot. But even so, it's definitely a harder balance, and so definitely with all that going on, it did add a realm of just having less time in general. And then on top of that, as I am doing my actor job, I also left one job and started a new job somewhere else. So then there's like introduced a whole other transitional period that's going on for me, which it wasn't like additional stress or feeling overloaded or anything with work, but it was definitely just, it was like one transition into another transition. And so, you know, you kind of have to like recalibrate yourself a little bit to understand how to make everything fit in place, even if things suddenly are a little bit different from how they were before. That's kind of like the two other things that went on during that time of when, you know, the SAG strike happened, and then I'm starting my performance contract, and then I'm also starting a new job, and so kind of all those things happened relatively within the same time period that it just kind of was definitely something where it's like, if one of these things hadn't happened, this probably would have still slowed me down in terms of the videos that I was making. But now with the SAG strike being over, with my schedule just being a little bit more open than it used to be, like all these little things, it's definitely now been able to open me back up to making videos, to working on editing, all the other little things that I do behind the scenes or right in front of the camera. I'm definitely going to be having to, again, find my footing and getting back into a bit of a flow of things. I think right now I luckily have like a good amount of videos that are just ready and prepared to be uploaded and released, and honestly I've just been waiting on me to sit down and make this video so that I could then upload all the other videos that I want to upload. But yeah, with all of that being said, hopefully if you did watch this video and you watched it all the way through and you were looking for a bit of clarity, hopefully this video offers you just a bit of clarity and a bit more of an in-depth explanation to things, and it hopefully wasn't too confusing and easy to follow. Now from this video out, I will start uploading other videos that I have been waiting to upload, and I'm so excited to start sharing those again and just sharing my reactions and everything. So I am just so excited about that. And I think that's all I do have to say for this video, so please feel free to hit the subscribe button if you also want to know what else goes on this channel. You can hit the notification bell to be notified, like this video, and you can also find me on my other social medias, which I think I'm putting right there. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So I'm gonna stop talking now and just say have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, all those things, and I will see you all very soon.